When you're looking at this card and you know it's not a fiat card, I'm spending Bitcoins, you're like, maybe I don't need that second beer or second whiskey tonight because I know I'm spending Bitcoin, which is going to be worth more in the future.
Welcome to Bitcoin Basics with your hosts, Faris and Gordon. Visit bitcoinbasics.help if you need help buying and securing your Bitcoin.
Join our Bitcoin Basics community in our new Telegram group at bitcoinbasics.help/telegram. No ads, no altcoins, shitcoins, no other nonsense, only Bitcoin information, education and discussion at bitcoinbasics.help/telegram. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Bitcoin Basics podcast with your host, Gordon. That's me, and I have Faris with me as well. Before we get started, our proof recording. Today is the 9th of November. The current block height is 708,854, and the current price, Faris, is 67,570 US as we approach all-time highs. All-time highs being the block height, not the price. Although we're always at all-time block height, if you get that. Today, we're going to talk about crypto debit cards. But Faris, I guess let's get started. What is a crypto debit card?
So crypto debit card basically is a card that, in essence, is actually backed by Visa or MasterCard. And what it allows you to do is spend your Bitcoins in everyday transactions by Visa. So using PayWave or just at point of purchase, it actually allows you to do that. So this is something that is not new in that Gold Money has had this service for quite some time. Like you hold gold, and rather than sell your gold, convert it to your local currency, you have a debit card, and every time you spend it, it's actually just decreasing the gold amount that you have attached to that card. So crypto debit cards are the same thing. You might have Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ripple, whatever, and say you need to spend them on everyday purchases. Normally what you'd have to do is sell them and then send the funds into your bank account or to your credit card. So it takes a few days to a week, sometimes longer. What this is it allows you to spend your crypto directly on the spot without going through that whole process.
All right, we've got many questions here, but I'll be kind and nice and say, why would you want to do this? Most people, I'm assuming most people listening to this probably have a debit card and a credit card. Like, why would you want to use a crypto debit card as opposed to a traditional one?
Yeah. So the reason you would use this is, say, if you are basically heavily invested in crypto, in that, some people look at Bitcoin as a portfolio investment where anywhere from 5 to 20% of your portfolio is Bitcoin. And that's it. It's not actually part of your everyday activity. You have a credit card or a regular debit card. So you wouldn't. But there are people out there where they get paid in crypto, or everything that they earn is in crypto. So their entire world is actually, all their income is in, say, Bitcoin. Well, they've got bills to pay. You want to go out for a coffee. You don't want to go to a Bitcoin ATM and get cash out every single time. You don't want to be moving from Bitcoin into fiat. So, because that actually can cause some banking issues. If your bank sees that you are constantly getting funds coming in from Bitstamp or Binance, banks will not like that. And also it can affect your taxes as well, depending on your jurisdiction. If you're buying and selling Bitcoin, that's going to be a bit of a nightmare for your taxes as well. And it takes times and it's expensive in fees as well. So, it can be $25 each time. So what this allows you to do, if you are someone who your whole world is in Bitcoin, and there are people like there, is this card allows you to bypass that whole system and simply spend your Bitcoins or, your other cryptocurrencies without going through the legacy fiat system.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, like, and share so we can find others like yourself.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Faris. The convenience can't be understated. And I live in Southeast Asia, and most of the governments here are pretty negative towards crypto and Bitcoin, and bank accounts are scrutinized even in my home country. So it's not that you're trying to avoid tax or do anything illegal, anything like that, but you're just trying to avoid fees. For me to send money from my local bank account here back home and vice versa is an absolute nightmare. It's very expensive and it's very slow. Sometimes it takes 2 business days. So having a crypto card that you could load crypto on from an exchange, you can literally do that, within 5 minutes. Go to an ATM anywhere. Some of the cards are linked with Visa or MasterCard or whatever, but basically any ATM or any store, any online place will accept your card. So in essence, you've gone from your exchange to the crypto card, spending money in the real world within, 5-10 minutes, as opposed to 2-3 days. So to me, that's an enormous advantage. There are going to be a lot of Bitcoin maximalists saying this is the worst idea ever because Bitcoin's going to be $1 million in 2 years' time. And that $6 coffee you spent today is going to be worth, $600 coffee. But I think as you said, Faris, that's not really the use case. The use case isn't for people to spend their 401k, their retirement fund money. You're not spending that on coffee. It's you're spending money, and hopefully people have got those 2 portfolios separated. And it's also another thing I've been thinking about. Bitcoin is amazing because the other day, someone had a significant amount of money, and it was almost $100,000 worth on a mobile phone wallet. And it was a mobile phone wallet that is custodial. And for those who remember our episodes, custodial means the developer basically controls your keys. So it's like, I was trying to explain to him, it's kind of like having your 401k, your retirement fund, your bank savings, your stock, your spending money, basically every single investment, all the money that you own on a mobile phone. No one would do that. So why do you do that with your Bitcoin? So separate it. As you said, if you've got an investment portfolio, you want to have that separately on a hardware wallet, a proper Bitcoin custody solution. So what we're talking about, I assume, is just spending money.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought this up because there's, like when I was researching this, there's quite a few options out there. One of the big ones you might recognize the name, listeners, is crypto.com. And I was out for dinner the other night and I had to double check because they had the Dubai Grand Prix on. And one of the sponsors was crypto.com. And now there's new ads coming out with Matt Damon as their spokesperson. And if you have a look at their cards, they're offering all these cards where you have, so they're issuing their own token as well. So for every dollar you spend, you will get rewards. So it's kind of like, think of it like flybys or air points. You get rewarded in their token. And their token's actually, I think it's about $20 now or something like that. It's quite high. And then you get like free Spotify, free Netflix if you go for the higher end card. The only problem that I have with that is you need to put in to get these higher end cards like $40,000, which means you're buying their token at $40,000. So it's a $40,000 investment, and then you start using that down on your card. They have lower ones at like $2,500. But for me, the issue with that is that third party thing, which me and you are very strong about, is that, I'm giving someone else money. There's another card I really like, which is Wirex. The reason I like Wirex is you're still getting issued their token, which is less than, it's like a penny stock at the moment. But the reason I like them is because they're a Bitcoin wallet as well as a fiat Visa wallet. So what I mean by that is, say right now, okay, Bitcoin's at all-time highs. I'm thinking I might cash in just say a couple of grand for this month, spending money for the month, rent, utilities, whatever it is I can pay for Visa. I don't want to sell a lot of Bitcoin because I think it's going to go up, as you just said. But right now I can just cash in a couple of grand, move that to my Visa card and pay these expenses for the month. So rather than with the crypto.com, I need to put in a minimum $2,500 or up to $40,000. With Wirex, I can decide the minute, the day, the time that I can convert my Bitcoins or other cryptos into fiat and just load it onto my card. And the beauty about that is that, like, I just, tried it out with a small amount and go, yep, I only need a couple $100. I just want to try it out. And there you go. I'll only have what I need for the week. And as you mentioned, Gordon, when you're looking at this card and you know it's not a fiat card, I'm spending Bitcoins, you're like, maybe I don't need that second beer or second whiskey tonight because I know I'm spending Bitcoin, which is going to be worth more in the future.
Yeah, what's the term for that?
Gresham's law.
Not spending bad money before good money, but time preference. Yeah, so basically looking at time preference and as a quick note, the CRO token, which is the Crypto.com token, is currently 38 cents.
38 cents.
It was 6 cents at the beginning of the year 2001. So yeah, you have to be really careful with these crypto cards. Everyone nowadays, even Binance with their BNB coins, they create these what are called utility tokens. And it's just another level of friction that you have to go through. So you've got a crypto card, and let's say you've got Bitcoin. You want to load $100 worth of Bitcoin onto it, but then you've got to buy, you can't do that directly. You've got to buy CRO, and then you've got to work out the price of CRO and blah, blah, blah. And it's just another level of friction. And also, if the price of CRO is going down and you leave money on your card, then, it's getting eaten away. It's just another thing to worry about. So yeah, that's my only problem with crypto debit cards. I wouldn't ever use one that had its own token attached to it.
Well, this is why I like the Wirex one, because another thing that Wirex can do is you can select multiple currencies. So if you're in Southeast Asia, if you're going to Europe, you can actually select multiple currencies. So if you just had US dollar on there and you're traveling around, you're probably not getting the best exchange rate. Well, you're definitely not getting the best exchange rate. But you can sell Bitcoins into pretty much any currency out there. So if you're going to be in Europe for a while, you sell your Bitcoins into euro, and that euro is then loaded onto your card. So you don't have to worry about a currency conversion every time you use that card. So Wirex is very simple. Like, it does not have all the bells and whistles that the Crypto.com card has, but just very pragmatic. And yeah, it's Bitcoin to fiat, and you do get the Wirex token as a reward, but you don't have to buy the Wirex token. And to me, it's like, okay, I'm just getting these rewards. Someday they might be worth something. Someday they're not. It's just a bonus if they are. I don't have to go out and buy them.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Getting something as a reward or referral is fine, but yeah, don't force me to buy your token in order to get a card or whatever that. So yeah, maybe in about 6 months we'll ask you for a review. And we're no way affiliated. We don't even have a referral code, Faris. We didn't even think this through. How are we going to make money from this? We're not. So if you are thinking we're shilling something, well, we're not. We do have our recommendations, though, at bitcoinbasics.help. If you head across there to our, some of them are free products and services that we think are sort of the best in the industry. But before we end this episode, Faris, any other concluding thoughts about crypto debit cards and perhaps the future? Where's this all going to head?
Yeah, I think it's actually really exciting because legacy banking has made it very hard for people to get into crypto, and they still are. And this is a workaround. And like we're seeing, for example, like one thing you can't do on a debit card is send funds to someone else's bank account. But Satoshi's Living Room can do that. Satoshi's Living Room is not available everywhere. So we are now seeing where crypto and legacy banking are actually working side by side. So if you want to go 100% crypto or 100% Bitcoin, you could. In the past, you couldn't. Be a nightmare. And this is why we're actually seeing fewer and fewer Bitcoin ATMs, because we're not operating in cash. And I know societies around the world or governments around the world are trying to get out of cash. So it is really exciting that, yeah, you can actually live off of Bitcoin, whereas in the past, you couldn't. You had to somehow, pay rent, pay mortgage, that kind of stuff. You would, electricity bill, you'd have to have fiat. We're seeing that transition take place pretty quickly, I think.
Well, I'm an example as well. I've got now 2 small jobs. They're not huge, a couple $100 each sort of thing. But I'm now being paid in crypto for that, which is amazing because one, I'm getting paid in crypto, and it's being paid in Bitcoin. Sorry, Faris, I mentioned a dirty word, crypto. I meant Bitcoin. I'm getting paid in Bitcoin. And two, someone else is buying that Bitcoin for me. So I'm getting KYC, basically private Bitcoin. And with a crypto debit card, all of my salary isn't paid into that. But eventually, if I can get to the state where I'm getting paid 100% in Bitcoin, what do I need a bank account for? What do I need a credit card for? Now, you could say that, well, all you're doing is replacing an exchange with a bank, a crypto debit card company with a credit card company. That's maybe true to some extent, but there's no friction there. And the difference is I can control my Bitcoin 100%. I can have it in a hardware wallet or any other kind of wallet. So that's the massive difference. You're not really just replacing one bank with another bank. You're really giving yourself self-sovereignty. But as Faris said, why the hell would you want to spend your Bitcoin or your crypto on a beer or another coffee? So maybe it's a good incentive to be thinking more long-term in terms of your Bitcoin purchases.
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool. Well, if you want to join the discussion, we have a new Telegram group. So head across to bitcoinbasics.help/Telegram. Or if you're into Facebook, bitcoinbasics.help/Facebook. Join us there. Ask a question. There are other people to interact with as well as Faris and myself. But if you're got a question about buying Bitcoin, storing Bitcoin, or anything Bitcoin related, head across there. And as usual, bitcoinbasics.help. If you want to ask a question for this podcast, we have a little microphone button that you can record your own question and we'll answer it. And every other resource, including our recommendations as well on the site. Thanks, Faris. That was interesting. Maybe we'll touch base with you in another 6 months to see how your new crypto credit debit card life is going.
Thanks, Gordon. It's a pleasure, everyone. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for watching or listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, subscribe, and share so we can spread this educational content to others like yourself. Visit bitcoinbasics.help.
Disclaimer. Any content provided by CoinCompass is for educational and informational purposes only and is not investment, legal, tax, or any other professional advice. A qualified professional should be consulted before making any financial decisions. CoinCompass will at times recommend certain products, services, and technologies, but these are opinions based upon our own or podcast guests' experience and not endorsements. We take no liability for out-of-date or inaccurate information, software bugs, manufacturing errors, technology misuse, or issues involving third parties. Visit coincompass.com for more information and please contact us.